song ends at some point, I swear. That is the end. Oh my gatos, it's the end of the song. Push the button for the thing with the thingy. Hey, it's Monday. Welcome to another Monday extravaganza. Push the like button. Now that you're done pushing the like button, push the subscribe button. Okay, now that you're done pushing the subscribe button, now push the share button. Okay, now that you're done pushing the share button, push some more buttons. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Oh, God. Oh, I should turn my light up. Hold on. Oh, where's the light? Brighter. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. It was dark in here. I had to turn the light up. What's up? It's Monday. Hopefully you all are having a fantastic Monday or Tuesday or whatever day it is out there in your neck of the woods, wherever you at, whatever you doing. Okay, first rule of business around here. We got to give a shout out to Replay Team 6. Leave a comment on the live stream and then share it with your grandma. Send it on over to your grandma. She can listen to a couple hours of me just rambling on. She's got time. I'll keep her company. And if unfortunately you're like me, your grandmother has passed away, send it over to her anyhow. It's all good. You know, it's always nice to just remind the dead that you remember them, right? That's always a good thing. I think it's a good thing. So it must be always good. My condolences if that is your situation. Hopefully you're dealing with it in a healthy way. Our second rule of business is to remind everyone to become a YouTube member. We've lost some members, folks. We lost some members. We don't know where they went. We like to joke that they went off the end of the flat earth. They went over the ice wall. Which surprisingly is one of the conspiracy theories about the flat earth people that really only showed up after Game of Thrones was on TV. So I always find that to be super interesting. Doesn't seem to exist on the internet until after Game of Thrones. And you know what it means. Rule 34, baby. If it exists, it's on the internet. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, baby. Okay. We got to get our member count. We've gone down to 81. 6 of you unfortunate souls went right off over the ice wall out into the stack of turtles. It's a turtle on top of a turtle on top of a turtle. Correct? I think so. Anyhow, moving on. Patrons, we reached the beginning of the month since last show a week ago, and a bunch of people's credit cards expired. They went away, then they came back, and we're still only triple digits, but we were in double digits for a minute. It's going to be a sad day while we pass down into the double digits, because that's just generally how that's going to be. Aquarium Plant Lab believes the Earth is flat. Well, as old Beanie Shapino would say, facts don't care about your feelings, you know, right? Isn't that how that goes? Just kidding? Okay, cool. All right, good. Whew, I was worried that you believed in the flat earth and were super offended whilst watching this program on the internet. You guys will notice if somebody is watching your screen, and we'll talk about the elephant in the room for a moment. I have a big scratch and dent on my perfect body. My perfect body is now scratched and dented once again. I scratched and dented the fine finish right here from my brow to my exceedingly higher hairline, in which the parts are now malfunctioning in this area. Until a later date. Oh my God, it's the funniest story you've ever heard. A big chunk of wood hit my forehead. A big chunk of wood hit me in the forehead, and boy howdy is that a funny story. I know. We laugh around here, guys. Oh, guys, girls, non-binaries, we all have our laughs around here. Oh man, the vacuum cleaner's on the loose, guys. You got the vacuum cleaner is on the loose. Now that's actually a funny story. We have one of those knockoff Roombas. It's not a Roomba. It's a something. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it has a name on it, which I can't read from here. Vicky bought that for Olivia's grandma, a.k.a. Victoria's mother. And she didn't like it, basically, is the easy way to put it. She just, technologically speaking, did not enjoy the automatic vacuuming features and gave it back. And Vicky was like, well, I guess we have one now. So we have one of those, and it's on the loose, and it bonks into the door, and it makes me wonder, like, hey, what's going on over there? Somebody's making a ruckus behind me. And, you know, that somebody makes a ruckus because that somebody is a Vanessa. It's been named Vanessa. Olivia and Vicky named it Vanessa. I don't know why. I don't know what Vanessa they named it after, but you know how it is. Oh no, you've ruined your resale value. Yeah, it's true. Too many miles, too many scratches and dings on this body. But yes, very good story. Very funny story. The wood hit me in the forehead. You know. Yeah, that's basically how that went. Did I get it on video? No, I did not catch it on video, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would have been a great addition to a wonderful video, I'm sure. I'm off today, but I have a dentist appointment at 2, so I'll hang for as long as I can, and we'll hopefully be able to hop back on after. How long is this dentist appointment? Is it a regular dentist appointment, or are you just getting a checkup and a cleaning? Because, boy howdy, the last checkup and cleaning I got A+. I got an A+. Well, maybe not an A+, but an A. I got an A from the dentist. You know, they were like, "You're doing good. You're doing good, bro. Pat on the back. Pat on the back, chief." Aquarium Plant Lab wants to know: did it happen at the co-op? Nope, did not happen at the co-op. There was no OSHA regulations on this job site over the weekend, and a wood hit me in the forehead. So, if you like me getting hit in the head with wood, hit the like button. See that? Oh my God, I just pandered to the YouTube robots. Pandering to the YouTube robots to tell people to hit the like button, right? Isn't it funny? Freshwater Ichthyology says, or is it hollow? Yeah, I think like the Anunnaki live inside hollow earth, right? Isn't there supposed to be like a whole world inside the hollow earth where like lizard people live and stuff like that? Yeah, I've heard stories. I stayed up late. Back in the day, I used to drive big trucks. It's my first time I tried to get away from being a chef. The first time I tried to get away from being a chef, I got into diesel mechanics, being a diesel mechanic for a street sweeping company, in which if you are the mechanic there, you also do street sweeping. Was a pretty good job, had a great job. Then that company got absorbed by a gigantic company, and then we transitioned very well, blah, blah, blah. And because of a private citizen interaction, I no longer was able to have that job anymore. Long story short, got in trouble with the law, and then I couldn't have that job no more. It's Shambalamba. A Shambhala. But anyhow, so when I was doing that job, we would work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I know. Wild shift, right, guys? We worked over the middle of the night, and it was a long shift. We always worked a minimum 12-hour days, and then back then in the early 2000s, back in the early 2000s when most of you were being born, there was no, I think satellite radio was like the only thing that existed. But and it was like extraordinarily expensive. I think it was like $100 a month or something crazy like that. Anyhow, all we had was the radio, and so I listened to a lot of crazy overnight radio, like Art Bell, and people would constantly call in to talk about their alien encounters, the Earth, things under the Earth, all sorts of crazy, weird, whatever fringe nonsense people were thinking about back then. Very similar to what people are generally thinking now. It's not that different. It's the same kind of stuff. And so I heard a lot of it. People calling in, freaking out because they saw a picture somewhere and it gave them nightmares or whatever. Apparently, the BBC is talking about a big earthquake in between Turkey and Syria that has killed over 3,500 people so far. And yes, that is a horrific tragedy. From my understanding, watching the news earlier, there was 2 earthquakes. And if memory suits, there was a 7.8. And then about an hour later, some odd miles away, there was a 7.7, which is terrifying. What was the Earth? Was it 1999? When was the Nisqually earthquake? Let me see. February 28th, 2001. The earth beneath western Washington shook so hard that buildings crumbled. Roofs caved to the ground and split open. Yeah, it was a 6.8. So I've been through a 6.8, and that was pretty terrifying. So if you think on the Richter scale, the increase every point, a 7.8 sounds pretty terrifying and scary. It's just a huge tragedy that it happened in that area, and it sounds like there are a lot of people that are having a very tough time, and it sounds like most people, most agencies around the world are scrambling to help however they can. Admittedly, I have to say that, like, sort of my hands are tied. There's not much that I can do. I mean, I guess I could tell people to donate money to charity if you like, if that's something you want to do, but yeah, I mean, just trying to relate in my own way. We went through the 6.8, and that was pretty terrifying. Although nobody I knew died in that. But from my understanding, it's right on the lines of the Civil War and everything that's going on in Syria, and that's just icing on the cake out for everybody there. And my heart goes out. But like I said, I don't know if there's anything I can do, I once worked a job that required shifts from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. in the eastern Washington desert during the winter. Radio banding endangered wildlife. It was fun, cold, and exhausting, so I understand the struggle. Yeah, it was definitely a weird time in my life, like working those graveyard shifts, and there are other times where I worked graveyard shifts in my life also. So it is not out of the it's not my only experience working graveyard shift. It's a very difficult vibe. It's a very difficult vibe to operate in, and I don't know that I ever handled it super well. I think one of the big effects that I've had, or that it has had on my life personally, is that I don't respect my own sleep cycle as much as I think I probably should. Like, there's a strong tendency for me to, like, go to bed at 9:30 and I get up at 4, right? Or I go to bed at 10 p.m. and get up at 4. And that's, from my understanding, people are like, you're not getting enough sleep. And it's like, okay. But it's always been kind of, I've been very used to, like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, but I got to get the work done, so I go do the work and I just go do the thing. So if that's a good attribute, I guess, but it seems like it's probably been detrimental to my overall health, I would guess, I think. I remember that earthquake. I was on the playground in school and the monkey bars. I was running a kitchen in North Seattle. And I do remember that day very vividly because I had a horrific head cold. I was like very sick, not feeling good at all, and had taken a ton of Dayquil to go to work, like Dayquil and cold medicine to go to work. And I was standing on the kitchen line, right? And one of the guys I worked with, or that worked for me, I guess, Joseph, he, like, his face was like, his eyes were like saucers. He was freaking out, and he was grabbing and holding on to both counters. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay. This medicine is messing with my head. Like, I thought I was just tripping on cold medicine, right? I just thought that, like, maybe I should have stayed home. I should have stayed home and stayed in bed because I clearly am, like, having issues, right? And then I looked around and everybody else was freaking out, and then the pots and pans were all moving around. Things were shifting and stuff. I was like, oh, it's not me. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting vibe, you know? That means that there's an earthquake. Okay, I got to do my earthquake procedure. So then, because you're in a restaurant, what you're supposed to go outside, I guess, is the long and short of it. You're not normally supposed to, like, vacate a building. You're supposed to get in a doorway. You're supposed to get cover so nothing falls on you, that kind of stuff. But in a restaurant, you're supposed to evacuate the kitchen. Because the kitchen is just so dangerous that, like, they want you to just get out of that space, which actually turned out to be, like, the right advice because the gas main. So that place had a 3-inch gas main, and if you know how big a 3-inch gas main is, have you ever seen a 3-inch gas main? You know, feeding that natural gas right into the building. I don't know. Does it make sound? I don't know, but it's fun to make sounds with my mouth. Anyhow, 3-inch pipe, beefy gas going on into the building. That dang thing snapped. And so once the earthquake was over, we went back inside to see what was going on, and it was like, it smells like gas in here like crazy. You know, basically, gas was just leaking into the building. So, did people run around and blow out the pilot lights? I can't be 100% sure. Maybe, I don't know, for liability reasons, I'm going to say that they didn't, and it just didn't happen to blow up. But maybe they did. Maybe people ran around and put out pilot lights. I don't know. But it was a very bad idea. Yeah, some serious gas main broken, and they called, and, you know, basically we got the fire department they came and turned off the gas. They were actually pretty quick, believe it or not. Gas shut off, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. Building shut down for a couple of days while the gas company had to come out, and then they had to get another there needed to be like another earthquake, I don't know if I want to say survey or something, but there was an inspection done on the building to make sure that it was safe for occupancy, blah, blah, blah. Needless to say, the kitchen staff was in there. We were in there working the whole time. Once the gas main was turned off, we cleaned everything, you know, stored all the stuff, got blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, we were still pretty much, well, you know, the chefs and managers, those people were all showing up, and we were all, like, working on stuff to make sure that things didn't expire, you know, that kind of stuff. So we were there for a couple days, but needless to say, it got fixed, and we immediately went back to soul-crushing, the soul-crushing day-to-day business that we normally were used to. 48 Tom W says, the quake in 89 ruined my house that I was renting. Wild days indeed. Yeah, I remember the earthquake in 89. I was a little guy then, so it was just interesting. It was just interesting to me. So I don't have any, like, memories of the 89 earthquake, although I do remember it happening. Or wait, was there one? No, was the 89 one, was that San Francisco? 1989 earthquake. Oh, that was the California one. Yeah, okay. 1989 was that one. When was the other Washington one? Anyhow, there was another one in Washington. I thought it was 89, but maybe it's a different year. It probably is. But either way, 1989 was the big San Francisco one. I do recall watching the news. I do recall watching the news on this for weeks, months. I don't know. It seemed like it was on for a very long time. How big was that one? I mean, it's so like one of the weird things is that like we all naturally gravitate towards going like, well, how big was that earthquake? What was the Richter scale? But a smaller earthquake can do more damage because the geology of the area, right? Like, so geographically, you could have a smaller earthquake in an area that has more liquefaction and what is that called? I don't know. I forget the name of it. I'm not a geologist. Don't worry about it. But depending on what goes on geologically in the area, a smaller earthquake can be way more devastating. So it's not necessarily just the Richter scale. A lot of it has to do with the area itself. Magnitude 5.3 and 5.4. Is that right? Is it only a 5.4? That seems small. Oh, maybe this is the 6.5 is the San. 6.9. Okay, 6.9 was the October 17th. Okay, yeah. That sounds right. 6.9. Oh my God, guys, we've got ourselves a super chat on our hands. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with this super chat? Canadian style? Oh my God, we have Canadians watching YouTube. We have Canadians watching us on YouTube, guys. We've gone international, although almost everybody here is international anyhow, so it's not all that shocking. Anyhow, Lucas Szymanski, am I saying that right? Szymanski? I don't know. I'm probably saying it. Lucas Schmansky. Maybe it's Schmansky. I don't know. Anyhow, keep up the great work. Any experience with biopsidy? My cherry shrimp are getting it. Seems like there are multiple ways of dealing with it. There's only one way I know of. There's only one way I know of treating for it. There's only one way I know, and I learned from a doctor in Germany while I was there, and since then I've noticed, having spoken about it publicly, I've noticed that companies have started advertising. That I know haven't really done any research into it, so it's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting to see it show up. Let me find you a link. Oh my gosh, what was I doing here on Amazon? I was trying to find a new Torx screwdriver because I don't have a Torx screwdriver that works well. Mine's broken, basically. So what we want is malachite green. We don't want methylene blue. We want malachite green. Yeah, this crap. This crap right here. I'm about to share an Amazon link coming in at you hot. The Federal Trade Commission requires me to tell you that I am a Amazon affiliate, so if you buy stuff through the links, I get a what do you call it? Commission. The links I post, I get a commission from. So now you know. Anyhow, you don't have to buy anything through the links. That's a link simply for your information to go like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Like if you don't know how to spell it or whatever, you can just go there and go like, aha, that's what he's talking about. There also is malachite green. This is a gigantic link. I'm going to put in the chat. I have no association with this company. Chewy. Oh my God, the link's too big. Anyhow, I'll make a shorter link for you. Hold on. You can look this up. Copy. You'll be able to find it. This link's too many characters long, and I don't want to convert it to a smaller. But there you go. You can find it from there. Okay. Now, how to treat biopsidy. It's been a while since I've said it. If you guys are wondering what that is, it is a green fungus that grows up on the bottom, on the undercarriage of your shrimps, and it is deadly, and it will spread, and you have to get rid of it. In the past, 10 plus years ago, if you got biopsidy in your shrimp tank, that meant it was cull time. You culled anyone that had any visible biopsidy on it. And you had to cull them and just get rid of them and hope that you could continue to go down the road of culling. Lucas says it sucks because Canada banned import of these products. So my thing is that if I were you, I would start. So I would start looking into where you could sort malachite green in Canada. You might have to go to a veterinary office. You might have to go to a specific website. You might have to look around because you're in Canada, which is fine. At least you have a path to go down, right? Like everybody wants a path to go down, and at least this is a path to go down. You could probably call some people. You can say, this is what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find it. I'm in Canada, blah, blah, blah. If you're talking to other Canadians, they might be able to come through for you. You could probably call some local fish store or somebody in Canada. Yeah. Malachite green is approved in Canada for use in the treatment of aquarium fish. The government of Canada advised against using malachite green in food fish in 1992. This includes use during the entire life cycle of the fish from the hatchery to the farm. So, Canada knows what it is. Canada says you can't use it for food fish, but Canada says you can use it for aquarium fish. So, it's got to be available somewhere. This is Canada.ca website. It's Canada's official website. Canada has one website, and this is the one, right? Anyhow, how to treat your shrimp with malachite green if they have biopsidy, right? What you have to do is put the malachite green on their food. They have to ingest it. You're not going to put it into the tank other than on food. So what you do is you take that food, you put the malachite green on it, and you allow it to dry and absorb into the food. Allow the food to dry. Stop feeding your shrimp while you're doing this. Stop feeding the shrimp for a couple of days, so they are really hungry when it comes time to feed them the malachite green food. Dried, ready to go. Drop it in the tank. Make sure that the shrimp are eating it. They need to eat the medicine. This is one of those situations where it needs to be orally administered, which is virtually impossible to do with a little needle. If you got like a little eyedropper or something, you got a little eyedropper and you're trying to get your shrimp to eat, you're never going to do that. That's never going to happen. If you put it in the water column, it will be too toxic for the shrimp at the level in which you need to dose. It would be an insane dose, essentially, is that you would put so much in there that the water would be toxic for anything, basically, right? Now, having said that, you're going to have to do this treatment and keep doing this treatment over time. The recommendation that I got was to do it once a week and just keep doing it once a week for like 2 months or something. 3 months, 2 months, maybe a month. I don't know. He said that anytime he had a tank with shrimp in it that had biopsidy in it, he would just put it on the calendar that once a week they would get the oral food that had the malachite green dried into it. And he would just do that consistently and just go like, I'm just doing it essentially like, I know it's in the tank. It was there. It was visibly present. So I'm just going to keep treating for it. Now, the reason he was doing that is he had imports coming in. He had lots of tanks. He had a big giant setup. So there is a possibility that you having one shrimp tank or something, you might be able to get away from treating for it, right? There might be a day. I don't know. You're going to have to make that decision yourself. But from my understanding is that it is a very long process of working your way through it, which is why a lot of people didn't know how and they didn't know what to use. I don't have the book from the guy who wrote the book because the book was only in German, which is essentially a useless product to me at the time. Although now I probably could have scanned the page and like Google translated them or something, but you know, my hope is that at some point in time somebody's going to translate those books from German to English so that I can read them and like make sure that I'm fully comprehending what's going on. So I hope to see that someday. Although I believe Corey has 2 of the books in German, which means that they're like on a shelf somewhere not being read. But I think it's more just like a placeholder kind of thing. But yeah, Corey and I both were there at that guy's store. I believe we posted some videos about it. I still actually have some sealed shrimp food from him because we actually acquired about as much as we could while we were there. And really good quality food, that's for sure. Good quality advice. That store was awesome. His little store was rad and popping, baby. That store was way busier than I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Mikey Fishy says, which is why all the cool kids become members or join the Patreon and use the Discord. That's right. If you know, I appreciate your super chat. I will never turn down a super chat because like I said, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. 100%. I always think it's best to put your money into becoming a member because then you can join our Discord. You know, at $5 or even $1 a month, that means you got a month of chatting back and forth on our Discord, which is a member-only sort of Discord, mainly because it's for members, right? You know, people that are sort of invested, right, and they want to be in the Discord chit-chatting and doing all that kind of stuff, going back and forth. And I have found that when you open things to the public, you got to moderate them much more because people they can't be trusted, right? Often when there's no moderator around, next thing you know, there's all sorts of inappropriate stuff being posted, and you're like, wow, we gotta get rid of this, and then we gotta get rid of that, and then you're like, should we pay moderators? What do we do? You know, yeah, it becomes somebody's job. Discord, you can do photos and videos. That's right. Yes. Zombie Drummer says, I think so. I was going to ask the same thing. What? Caitlin DeRossier says, is that the store that was in the basement? Yes. Yes. And Zombie Drummer was going to ask the same thing. Yes, the guy who ran that store had a doctorate in shrimp. I wish I knew the name of it, but he was a doctor. He was a well-known I think maybe he was just an ichthyologist or whatever, but you know, the guy who took us there was like, he is a doctor. Like, he's literally like a doctor. This is his life. Like, and it showed. It really showed because the level of expertise, like the level of quality, everything that was there, it really showed. It really showed that this man was dedicated to this. And you think he had like 6 books published or something crazy like that. So it was very cool. Very cool. But yeah, as far as treatment, hopefully I covered all the steps, and hopefully that helps you out. Like I said, it's very difficult for me to recommend like you know, here's a medicine or something like that because I'm in the States, and invariably somebody will be like, I'm in New Zealand, you can't have that here because something, like somebody found an issue and we're not allowed, and it's like, oh shoot. So in those instances, I would always say, find somebody within your country that you go like, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm treating, this is why, what path do we go down, what can we do to do this? Or maybe there is an alternative now, although I haven't heard any alternatives that didn't just seem like somebody posted on Facebook or something, kind of nonsense, right? Which is very, very low point of entry, very low trust. Yeah, I don't trust it. Yeah. So, would you separate the fish from the tank or keep feeding the fish? There are lots of juvenile shrimp in the tank. I wouldn't worry about removing the shrimp or the fish. We even asked about that, was like, what's up with the fish? Is that a big deal? And it's like, no, don't worry about it. I was like, okay. I had Ello a few years ago, and culling handle it. Caught it early, though. Actually, Joel did on the Discord. Yeah, you got to just... In the past, we just culled. You just have to get any infected shrimp out of there. Feed them to your chickens, whatever you got to do. I did realize the other day we weren't culling fish. We were catching some dead fish at the store. Just, going through treatment and shipping and all that kind of stuff. We do have some deaths sometimes at the store, and I was there with one of the employees. I was like, oh, how many do we have today? And it was only 3 out of the thousands of fish that are in the store. And it reminded me, I was like, I should make the culling fish to the chickens video. But I don't have any fish at home or anything that's like that right now, because I'm still working and twerking on my fish room, you guys. Work continues. The work continues. The work continues on the fish room, guys. Oh, the work continues. Oh my God, I have never, I've never had so much of a level of man excitement over garage doors. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you about these garage doors. They are so sexy, so unbelievably sexy. I just can't even. Oh my God, garage doors, baby. They are so. I wouldn't say erotic. They're not erotic, but they are so amazing and awesome and smooth, and they go up and down, and boy, howdy, you got the clicker and the door automatically opens, and it's not all loud, and it doesn't make weird noises like you're going to get murdered. It's great. Garage doors are in. Framing is mostly done because I've changed my mind about a thing. But I'll do the video on the thing that I've changed. Electrical is going in right now. Every spare hour I get, I go work on running the electrical. Right now I am putting up boxes, stapling wire, pulling wire, dropping home runs. Doing my box makeups, doing my box makeups, doing my box makeups, doing my box makeups, doing my box makeups. There's so many box makeups. Oh my God, I don't know who designed this fish room. Some psychotic idiot. Oh, it's me. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I'm Taylor Swiftin. I'm Taylor Swiftin, y'all. I'm Taylor Swiftin, y'all. Big time. I'm going big time, and I'm Taylor Swiftin', yeah. Right now, I have over 20 outlets going into a 200 square foot room, along with, I also have to run Cat 5 for internet networking, it's not that big of a deal, but then I'm going to run Cat 5 for video networking. Then I'm also going to have to run a Cat 5 for audio networking. Or maybe I'll end up doing speaker wire on the audio networking. I haven't made up my mind yet, because the HDMI converters are actually like way more expensive than I thought they were. Like a decent pair, it's like $100. And I'm like, but I could do that with speaker wire. I don't. Do I need to do that? Do I need to do that, really, guys? So that's going in. And I'm slowly working my way through it and videoing the parts, and hopefully, giving you guys some ideas about what you might want to do with your fish room, like especially if you're going to be building one out, or maybe you have an existing one and you want to make some changes. So we're going through that process right now. Every wall has an outlet, like there's an outlet here, outlet here, outlet here, outlet here, outlet here. Terry says I have 16 double duplex outlets in my fish room right now, so you have 2x2s in there, which is 5, which is great. I don't like the doubles personally because it cuts down on how many boxes you can put in. So rule of thumb, with a 20 amp 12 gauge wire running, so you got 12 gauge wire running from your panel on a 20 amp breaker, right? Breaker in the panel. 12 gauge wire goes up into your roof, goes over there. Rule of thumb is 8 outlets, and that includes each receptacle itself, right? So if you have double, right? You should only have 4 on each run. Generally speaking, because all of those contact points, you start to get to a point where you have an opportunity for failure because of an excessive draw, So in order to bypass that, I do a single box with 1 receptacle in it, right? It's got 2 outlets, one on the top, one on the bottom, right? Just like every other one. But I'll do that, and then I'll go over to the next stud and put another one in. Over to the next stud, put another one in. Over to the next stud, put another one in. Most people don't want to do that because that's extra labor. And when you're talking about the cost of electrical work, labor is number 1. Labor is number 1. Parts is number 2. It's always good to keep that in mind. And that labor is like number 1 for sure. What is this little guy doing? Who is this little guy? I'm going to put this little guy down here. Sorry, I got totally distracted by this little guy down here. I'm going to put him over there in the corner. There. Nobody puts baby in a corner, but I do. This little guy. This little guy is actually supposed to be... Hold on. I got to move him. We got to move him down the list. Sorry. It's going to bother me forever now that I noticed it. There. He's behind the video now. Ooh. Anyhow. So, what was I talking about? Oh. Rule number 1, the most expensive thing in electrical work is labor. Even a really... Hold on a second. I couldn't figure out what was jabbing my leg. I had moved a crate down there and never moved it back. So there we go. Okay, rule number 1 in electrical is that labor is the most expensive part. Even an affordable electrician or a group of electricians or electrical company or whatever, if they send somebody out to your house, general rule of thumb is it's going to be $1,500 a day, right? That's like affordable, right? One guy in a van comes out there, it's $1,500. Probably more realistically, but let's say this is the cheap guy. Parts is probably going to, depending on the project, let's say it's $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, maybe it's even $1,000. But let's say you got a project, you need 2 guys. Now all of a sudden, instead of it being $1,500, it's $3,000 because 2 people are in the van, they're driving over, and they're going to be working there, and they can't be working anywhere else. So you got to charge, right? The parts. That doesn't change. Let's say that the parts are still only $1,000, but instead of a $2,500 job, now you got a $4,000 job, right? Let's say that this project goes on for 4 different days, right? Let's say on the 5th, the 12th, the 28th, and then next month in the 5th, again, they gotta come. Well, you start to add that up, and all of a sudden it's like, well, this is a $22,000 job, and you're like, yeah, it's 4 different days. It's $3,000 a day. Here's the parts. Here's the drive time. Here's the all that stuff, right? So, as I mentioned before, last week, the insulation, it's kind of a waste of time to save money on. But if you're somebody who's knowledgeable, who's willing to pull your own permit, who's willing to get it inspected, get it checked to make sure that you've done everything correctly, you can save a lot of money doing electrical. Now, if you're an idiot and you have the water is way too deep for you, hire an electrician yourself, for sure, 100%. But if you're somebody that can do that work, you're definitely going to save a lot of money. I even talked to my neighbor the other day, who was they did a she shed out in their backyard. It's actually really nice. It's really good. They hired an electrician friend of theirs to work on the weekends on that project. And one of the bids they got from a company out here it's a very big respectable company. They said it was going to be $26,000 to do the job, which of course the friend who's an electrician, they pulled the permit. They're doing it under their license. It's all fine, but they're doing it on the weekend to make it more affordable. And it ended up being like $6,000, which you go like, well, $20,000 is a big deal when it comes down to that. So it's like that might be an option for you if you know somebody who's a licensed electrician and they want to do weekend work. That is definitely a possibility. But for me, like electrical, the big thing is going to be labor. So if I can save on that labor, there's no reason for me not to do it because it's a high dollar thing. Like you guys remember, I did the. If you guys recall, I did the, for instance, I did all the concrete work at our previous house, did all those walkways, did the big pad, did all that stuff, did all that concrete work. Well, the reason for that is that it costs about $3,000 altogether for materials and all that stuff. One of the companies that we wanted to hire to do it, it was going to be like $21,000, I believe. So when you sit there and you go like, is it worth it for me to do backbreaking labor, bust my ass on the weekends, on the stuff, and you go like, well, we want this project to be done. We want this project to be done right. I still would have had to like supervise whoever was doing it, or not supervise, but like oversee whoever was doing it. But at the same time, you're like, that's a lot of money to be saving. If you want to get this project done, you could definitely do it yourself. Terry's Tropical Tank says 28 years in the IBEWLU 697. Awesome. I always recommend people to get into the union as soon as you can. If you are looking to do anything, really, get into a union, 100%. Why is it hot in here? I don't know. It's like somebody might be having cold flashes in the other room. Milady. I think she turned the heat on. It started getting hot in here today. But, yeah, I always recommend people to get into the union. As you guys know, I'm a big advocate for union labor, so love to see it for sure. Terry's Tropical Tank says 8 are just LED lighting on 20 amp. The other 8 are for air pump, 2 canisters, and a few heaters also on a 20. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. If you have them split like that, then that totally makes sense. So even with like LED lighting nowadays, so let's say we have a 15 amp running on 14 gauge. We got a string of lights going. We limit it to 8 now. Also, just as like as a rule of like, if you've gone over, do another run, right? If you've gone over 8, just do another run, and it's going to work out better than not, right? So, with that said, we want a multitude of outlets. That is 100% going to be sort of the most important thing when it comes into consideration for wiring your fish room. You want lots of outlets, and you want them accessible in the areas where you're going to use them. So on the low side, I normally run my outlets at 12-inch off the ground, which is pretty accessible for most things aquarium related, right? Most things aquarium related have a long enough plug to go from the ground to 12 inches. That's not a big deal. But what I've encountered often is that a lot of people go, well, my stand is this tall, my tank is this tall, and my lights are up there. And now my light cord is not long enough to go all the way down to get down here. So then what people end up doing is they start adding power strips and power strips and power strips, which admittedly, most of us have to use a power strip to some degree. I always recommend people to buy high quality, like surge protected ones. And those don't necessarily have to be expensive. You just want to make sure that you have a surge protector on there, something that can trip if it needs to. Yeah, like, so even Harbor Freight sells these ones that I think I have. No, it's the only one I have in here is plugged in. The other one I've got is in the garage. They have these, like, I think they're 5 feet long. They might be 4 feet long. But they're a long power strip where each outlet is, they have a good spacing on them. So, like, each outlet is, like, 10 inches apart or 6 inches apart or whatever it is. They have a single outlet spaced apart. They're very affordable. They work very well. I've used, strangely enough, I've used at least 50 of them. And just as a small section of, like, having tested them, they all seem to work out pretty well. But they do have a little surge trip on them, and they seem to work pretty well. So if you have to go into that option, you don't have to spend a ton of money to get, like, what it is that you're looking for. Because this is operating in wet areas, I don't have the code book off. I don't even have the code book on my desk. I don't have the code off the top of my head, but you do want ground fault interrupted outlets. All the circuits should be ground fault interrupted and protected because of wet area. You should always have that. And nowadays, I actually add arc fault interrupter at the panel. So I don't normally put the ground fault interrupters at the panel, namely because in a fish room application, it is very difficult to figure out, like, what is going on, because oftentimes you're, I don't know, 2 rooms away from where your panel is, right? Some water hits something, pops the breaker back in the back wherever your panel is, closest to the street. Wherever the street is, it's normally closest to the street. Wherever it is in that other room, it pops the breaker because some water got on something, right? Vitra says, is that GFCI? GFCI, yes. So what ends up happening is you'll start to run into this problem of running back and forth and trying to figure out, like, is it a heater that's gone bad? Did I get water on this outlet? Did I get the thing? Did I get that? What's going on? Whereas I have personally found out that similar to a bathroom application, if you actually GFCI ground fault interrupt each circuit in the area, you actually have your test and reset right there. So you can work with your test and reset right there. You obviously want to familiarize yourself with which circuits are running off which one, which runs are running off which outlet. But they do have an indicator light on them, so it's very easy for you to go, like, oh, the indicator light has turned off. That means that one's off. There's no little green LED on it, right? And so that's the reason that I do it that way instead of doing it. Arc fault is generally for, like, and it's kind of confusing to get into, but essentially what you're doing is you're it's basically a mode of surge protection that will exist within a system to protect things like electronics and computer products. If something does happen to arc, it will trip that breaker immediately and turn it off so that you don't end up with a surge going to electrical equipment that will end up invariably causing a problem with that electrical equipment, like this computer that's right here, which you can't see, and I'm pointing at it. You can't see that computer. But I will normally put the arc faults in the panel because it's generally pretty rare to actually have arc fault happen in the neck of the woods where I live. Although the more you work in the field, the more you'll find out that it's not that rare. But I'll normally put that in the panel, and then you want to go through and obviously wire up with the nicest outlets you can afford. That doesn't mean go out and spend $40 on every outlet having USB plugs and all the jazz and whoozy what's it's in there. But the method that I go by, and I should have got these pictures. So I wanted to get a picture that I could show you guys the difference between the two. So here's what I normally go about when I'm going to pick up outlets. I do have favorites. I don't want to persuade people into looking in for a specific. I didn't want to put a specific brand out there, but I basically wanted to explain like what I look for when I'm looking for essentially a quality outlets for a job. And I need a picture. I need an image. This is one of those moments where I'm like trying to find an image. Okay, hold on. Do. We don't want 20 amp. Somebody will accidentally install these in their fish room. We want images. Oh my God, it's only taking me to advertising, even though I pressed images. Dun, 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 dun. It's like only leaving me with advertising. Which reminds me, I need to eliminate my I need to eliminate my footprint from the internet again. All right, so we don't want a diagram. We don't want to look at a diagram. We're going to look at the Why can't I just find an image? Like, how difficult is this? Oh my God. Troubles with the internet. Welcome to another show where I gripe at the internet for not showing me pictures that I wanted to see. Aha! Okay, so here's the difference. So we want this, and we want similar images like this. Oh my God. Save image as. Oh, actually, I can just bring it over to the screen like this. Smart selection. Okay. So, when we're talking about outlets themselves, right? Like, I know that this is kind of confusing to most people that don't deal with this stuff, but let me get my arrow. Where's my arrow? Arrow, where are you? Oh my God, have we lost the arrow? YouTube chat. This. Remove. Oh my God. We've lost the arrow. How did we lose the arrow, guys? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, we got to move this buster up to the top. There we go. And we engage. Yellow arrow. Could this arrow be any bigger? Probably. Okay, so depending on the style of outlet that you like, whether you like this style or the Decora style, where they're just the rectangle ones. I prefer the Decora ones nowadays just because they look a little cleaner on the wall. But pick your fancy. Pick your fancy however you like. This is the inside guts. This is the guts, baby. This is the guts of your electrical outlet. When I'm picking the outlets, the things that I'm looking for not only is the style, and by the way, don't ever go almond. If you go almond, I'm gonna make fun of you forever, right? You always want to make fun of anybody who picks almond outlet covers, because it's just my God, curses to the people that ever made almond anything. Anyhow, so while you're maybe never seen the inside of one of these, what you'll see in here is a few things, right? What you're looking at is the contacts where your screws or where your plugs go in. You can see what they look like here, and it's actually two different outlets here, so you can kind of see the grades. The industrial grade, you can see, has a lot more metal in it, which is going to apply a lot more pressure to the prongs, right? So the actual plug that goes in, it's going to have a lot more pressure here for holding those prongs in. I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, but when you go to put a plug into something and then the plug like starts to fall out, you never want that. You never want that plug falling out. And one of the big differences between the two is that this outlet normally runs about 89 cents. This outlet runs about $2.75. $2.75 versus 89 cents, right? So when you're talking about a difference in money here, it's just so inconsequential to pick an industrial grade outlet over a residential grade outlet. The residential grade outlets normally just say outlets. They don't even delineate that like this is a whatever, right? So this right here is the same company. It's Leviton, same company, the industrial versus the residential, right? Like there's no, this is all made by the same guys. There's only a slight difference here in price when you get down to it. It's like, let's say I got to go buy 20 outlets. Could be like $24 or $60, right? You know, like if that's the budget, if the budget is that bad for your project, then maybe don't do the project yet. Maybe you got to go back to work for a little while. One of the big differences here is that you can see on the residential one, the ground actually runs through the interior of the outlet itself, which is this strip right here. And the industrial ones, the ground actually runs through the outside of the outlet to keep it for sure separate from any of this jargon, right? You have your hot lead on, depending on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from the front, it's on the right. If you're looking at it from the front, the neutral is on the left, and your ground is this green screw down here. Pretty simple wiring. Like I said, if you're somebody that knows how to do wiring, this is nothing new to you and not a big deal. But these are the big differences that you're looking for in the cheapo outlets versus the slightly more expensive industrial outlets, which are basically cost nothing more, right? It really just, like I said, it's an inconsequential amount of money. And another one of the big difference is how the wires are actually clamped to the outlet, I guess. Is clamped? That's not really the right word. But when you're wiring, you're attaching your wires, and you want to make sure that you have the best point of contact with them. The big difference between the two is that the residential one, you'll only have a screw. That's it. You got a screw. You make a loop. Loop goes on the screw. A hook. Basically, hook goes on the screw screws down, right? And the screw holds the wire in place. That's it. Whereas on the industrial ones, you actually have this plate right here where the wire goes in. There's a plate on one side, and as you screw the screw down, it compresses the two together, and it's a much better point of contact that is going to last much longer, in my experience. And in the experience of the people making these damn things, right? So I know some people out there have like, I got residential outlets from 3,000 years ago from when they built the pyramids. Like, okay, fantastic. You've had a wonderful experience in life with nothing has ever failed, and I guess good on you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to save the 123 cents per outlet just because somebody had a good experience. I've had much better experiences with the industrial grade ones, for sure. And one of the big reasons for that is these contact points. Oftentimes the industrial ones don't even have the quick wire push-in. Although I have seen them on industrial ones, they a lot of times don't even have them. And for the reason is that like if you're push connecting your wires into a outlet, just get out of the trade. Just go away. Stop doing electrical work because something's wrong with you. and that's not going to be good. So I always try to buy outlets that don't even have push connectors on them. If I see a type that's nice, it's heavy duty, I might buy a couple extra boxes of them just to have them on hand so that I can swap them out whenever I get a call. Somebody has a fried outlet and be like, "Oh, don't worry, I've got some in my truck. I'll come over." I'm willing to spend the extra $6 to have some in my truck in case somebody has a problem at their house and I can run over there real quick and help them out. So I always try to put my money where my mouth is, and like I said, I always try to buy a little extra and just go like, "Hey, company, keep making these ones. Stop making the push connectors." And then as far as that goes, like I think that pretty much handles like the stuff. You can use whichever boxes you want in the walls. I'm not somebody who's like critical of somebody using the blue boxes or the gray boxes or the fiberglass box. I don't care. Pick whichever one you like to use. If you want to do old work, that's fine. If you want to do new work with nails and everything, do whichever works best for you. But when it comes to these outlets, spend the extra $2. It's ridiculous that a lot of people out there want to save money and they want to save time on their stupid push connect. As Terry mentioned, make sure to pigtail your outlets and not series them all together, and always use crimping style outlets. The stab type will fail. That's right, stab type will fail. And also, if you're wondering what Terry is talking about when they say pigtail your outlets, pigtail outlets diagram. Let's see if we can't see a diagram. We'll see if we can't find an image. That is handy. Yes, this is a good one. Oh my God, it took us to a website instead of the image. We'll have to go back because we can't just be looking at this website all janky like that. Let's see if we can't find just a good image, a good old pigtailing image. Can I view the image? Oh my God, why do I have to go to the website? I don't want to visit the website. I want to visit the image. Oh, maybe I can visit the image now. Can I? No, I'm back at the website. Oh my God, look at me navigating the internet like a champ. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So anybody that does electrical all the time will be like, yeah, pigtailing, that's obvious. But somebody that doesn't do pigtail, aha, here we go. Like, okay, hold on. No, that's not a good diagram. This doesn't show the pigtail. Here we go. Oh, this does. Okay, this is good. Can I look at this Can I look at this image? There we go. Haha. Okay. This dates all the way back to 2004. Okay. So, this makes sense. Let's look at this diagram. Hold on, let me switch. Let me do this. Alt? Is it Alt that lets me trim the box? Oh, Lord. I'm going to get banned from YouTube. Nasty language. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, when Terry says pigtail, this is what they're talking about. Let's say that this is your line coming in. So this black wire is your hot wire. This white wire is your neutral wire. So let's say that these wires come in. They bring power into the box. You don't want to connect that wire directly to an outlet to have them in line. You don't want that. What you want to do is connect all of your hot wires back here, pre-twist them, put a cap on it, stuff it back into the box. You want to start with the ground, then you do the neutral, then you do the hot. Put those all into the box. Then this little length of wire right here, often about 6, maybe 4 inches, maybe 6 inches, depending on your perspective in life, right? You're going to put that wire in there and plug it to your connect it to your outlet. Make sure that it's a nice solid connection. Then you're going to install the outlet into the box, right? So you don't ever want to just have the hot wires, these wires, the black wire, coming in and going straight to your outlet and then going from your outlet to another one. You don't want to do that. That's bad news. I could go on for hours about why it's a bad news. But like, here's a good example. This is the 2004 code. So this is kind of an older code right here. And actually a test. I wonder if anybody can answer this one. Using table 314.16a, how many 14 gauge conductors are permitted in a 4 by 1.5 inch round box? I wonder who can answer that. What is it? What's the answer? Does anybody know the answer? 7, 9, 10, 11? Oh, crap, the answer's on the screen. I thought I had it cut off. I didn't have it cut off. It's 7. That's it. That's normal daily. That's normal daily calc. That's an easy one. Anyhow. So, arrow away. Screen selection away. There we go. Okay. Now we'll go through and see if we have like a lot of questions, concerns, comments, and complaints. Did we hit a bunch of dislikes today? Oh my God, people are outraged. They're not even showing up to the stream. Although Salient Aquatics has an associates in electrical. I saw your stream come up, so I said, let me check this out. Okay, well, thanks for coming out. But you didn't become a member, so only regular thanks, not big giant thanks. Christopher Gonzalez at Joel, what's up? How's it going? Been a minute since I've been on YouTube. Well, hey, man, it's been a minute. They're going. Things are going. I did a fish room update like a week and a half ago. I'm working on the next update video for y'all on the construction project. I realized I went to go edit the most recent update, and I realized I had really repeated myself about 1 billion times. So I went back to start to write out a script, and then I filmed a bunch of stuff. But I got to record the part where I'm like talking to you about it. So I don't have that part. I don't have that part just yet. Justin just saw something on Reddit's Century Homes subs about knob and tube wiring burning down someone's house. So now he's anxious trying to figure out how we can rewire the house soon. And I'm like, yeah, we need to do that. Yeah, knob and tube is bad. Get rid of knob and tube. Just... yeah, I don't need to talk to somebody who's 100 years old about, well, my knob and tube hold out for blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I've been in those conversations before, and just because your house hasn't burned down yet doesn't mean that it's a good idea. It's outdated technology that is quite dangerous, proven to be quite dangerous, so get that out of there. Terry says, the most important info in aquarium electric is please don't daisy chain power strips. People don't understand how bad it is. This also goes for electronics. Yeah, actually, it's true. It's very easy to overload a circuit, and it never-endingly causes fires, for sure. But yeah, you should definitely never daisy chain power strips. And if you're confused about what that means don't have a power strip plugged into the wall that you're using, and then plug another power strip into it. Does that make sense? Don't do that. Ever. It's not a good idea. You'll only experience bad outcomes. Which is definitely one of my reasons for talking earlier about making sure that I have nice, solidly wired outlets in all of the areas that I'm going to be using them. Because if I have a 2-gang box, I can always just do a cut-in and add another outlet if I want. Although that is difficult for the average person or for normies or whatever you want to call them. It's not that big of a deal for me. I can always just add a box if I need one. Oh, there's some insane beeping going on over there. The fixtures and everything throughout my house all betray the age of my house and how things were slowly retrofitted throughout the years. Oh my God, all my covers are Garvin. Okay. White outlets for lighting. Almond for power. Oh no! Terry! Terry, you've committed the most heinous of crimes. The almond. Oh my God, almond. Oh. I'm trying to think of what the Garvin, what the Garvin ones are. Oh yeah, okay, just the metal. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh my God, I was working on some multi-gang boxes the other day, some 6s. And I have some 8s I got to install, and I don't like it. It's fiddly. Fiddly AF. Anyhow, let's go back. Let's open this, open that. Okay, I'm good to go. We're back where we're at. But yeah, I don't know. I just hate almond outlet covers. I don't like almond outlets. I don't like it. It looks dirty is basically what it is. What it boils down to is that the almond cover plates and outlets and light switches and stuff, they look dirty to me. And they stand out whenever I see them. I'm like, that thing looks dirty. And they always look dirty, no matter how clean they could be. They could be brand new. Why not Cat 6A? Oh. Vitra is asking a question about the networking that is going to go in. And I have Cat 5 Express, so I'm probably going to use Cat 5 Express. Cat 6 is a little bit faster. I have done some Cat 7 stuff. Cat 7, and then now there's even Cat 8, right? I think. Isn't that right? Let me look at the maximum cabling length differences. Yeah, they actually have Cat 8 now that does 25 gigabits a second. Isn't Cat 5 Express shielded? And what's the length on Cat 5 that you can run? We want versus 5E. I want to see the chart. Where is it? So I have Cat 5 Express, and that really is going to work well enough. Oh, is Cat 5 only 100 megs? I thought Cat 5 Express... Oh, so maybe I will have to ditch it and go Cat 6 instead. Yeah, the primary benefit of Cat 8 cabling is faster throughput over short distances, 40 gigabits per second up to 78 feet, and 25 gigabits up to 100 feet. So I don't think I'm going to go Cat 8 because I don't even know how expensive is Cat 8. Let's see. I was basically going to wire everything up. Which actually I'm doing everything through not SmurfTube. Not SmurfTube. I'm not using SmurfTube. I hate SmurfTube. What's it called? Oh my god. I'm having a massive brain fart. I'm having a massive brain fart. What's the tube called? Oh my god. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to feel like an idiot. Liquid tight. Flex tight. Okay, yeah. I'm going to be running everything through liquid tight. And I'll make a video about like why I'm doing that and how I'm doing it. And so I'm pulling everything through 3/4 inch liquid tight. And if you don't know what that is, it's essentially like a flexible electric tubing that you use for outside conduiting, but outdoor conduiting in water areas. But the The reason I'm doing that is for future upgrades. That's the main thing. So as far as Cat 5 goes, I would just run it through the wall down to the outlet, wire up the outlet, plug it in, Bob's your uncle, go up through the hole, out, staple it in. Not a big deal. No, not a big deal with Cat 5 because it's so cheap it really wouldn't matter. And it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm about to figure out, is Cat 8 wiring, really all that different? Nope. The bundles are exactly the same. Green, white, brown, white. Yep. That's the same. So the Cat 8 must just be, fancier, right? 22. It's 22 gauge. Yeah, nothing. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But either way, we're going to be running that. We're going to be running that through Liquid Tight, and so that for future upgrade stuff and for pulling things in the future. So let's say I wanted an extra line up there, I'll actually have a chance of being able to do that versus crawling up into the attic and fluffing around up in there in the insulation and all that nonsense. So I'm actually going to be running some junction boxes in that you'll be able to pull. Networking cabling around if I needed to move it. Don't three-way power strips either. Yeah, yeah. True. Don't three-way power strips. Do not. Those things are the devil. Those things. What are those things called? The three-way. This thing. These things. These wang janglers right here. Beware, that's an Amazon link. If you go through that link and then you buy a bunch of stuff at Amazon, I'm going to get a commission. So if you want me to get a commission, go through there. If you don't want me to get a commission, then don't. Otherwise, I'll open up the action here. These guys, don't do these. Here's the deal. I use these on job sites where I need running power on the job site, but I always unplug these before I leave. Because it's I'll have a sander and a saw and a thing all plugged into them, and I'm only using one at a time. So admittedly, if somebody was looking in my tool bag or whatnot, and they go hey, you have some of those in there, and you said those are the worst on the internet. And I was yeah, they are the worst for permanent install. You don't want these to be permanently installed, and I don't install them at the outlet. It's always on the end of an extension cord. So if there is an issue, it's right out here on the ground, and I'll be able to see it and engage with it with my karate moves by peeing on it and electrocuting myself. No, I'd be able to unplug things so that there isn't a fire and going to burn the building down. You know what I mean? Nice. Cat 6A versus Cat 6. Double the bandwidth and length again. Yeah, Cat 6A is what, double, right? Let's look at the where did that chart go? So as far as the networking goes, the reason I was going to use Cat 5e is A, it's cheap. B, we have a big spool of it somewhere. And I'm not going to need insane speeds out there, but I am going to use my main computer is going to be out there. So my thought was to run it out there and then do speed tests and see where I end up at. I have gigabit here, and let's see if we can run a let's run a test right now on my current network and see how well it's going. So right now I'm running through 2 VPNs. So it's pretty expected to be slower than normal. So my ping is 3 milliseconds. My upload speed is 473 megs, and my download speed is 355 for upload. So not bad. If I took down all of my VPN stuff and everything, then it would be close to a gig up and down. So we have parallel service here, which is quite good, and very happy with it. So really no complaints on that department. My thought was to just run it out there, see where we're at, and if I needed to upgrade it and change it, then I would do it then. But maybe I'll just run Cat 6 period and just do it that way. Cat 5 is 300 feet. So right now I've got to make about, let's see, 20, 40. It's only about 50 feet, maybe 50, then down, maybe 60 feet, maybe 60 feet altogether. I'll get a 100-footer, and then we'll see if I'm accurate or not with my guesstimation on how far I gotta go. That'll be great, right? Cat 6 needs good copper contents, not the mixed metal. In all caps from Ronnie. Why? Hey, caps lock, buddy. You're okay. It's okay. I'm gonna read it. Needs good copper. Agreed. Good wiring needs to be good wiring. You need quality wiring in any application, that's for sure. So that's kind of the question I got, is that so we might have to go Cat 7, right? Because we're going to end up with distance. But then everything else I'm doing is within 25, 30 feet, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Questions? Let's see. Where'd that chart go? Where did our chart go? Did we lose the chart? Oh my God, we lost the chart, boys. Okay, so we need Cat 5 versus Cat 6 versus Cat 7 versus Cat 8. Here we go. We'll get the chart, baby. Okay. Then we're going to look through this. We're going to see what's going on. Where's the chart? Okay. Cat 6 is 250 megahertz. Maximum transmission is 1 gigabyte, 10 gigabytes per second. Cat 7, 600 megahertz, 10 gigabytes a second. Yeah, so Cat 6 goes up to 100 meters, and then that's fine. Cat 7 is 100 meters. Cat 8 is only 30 meters at 2,000 megahertz. Technically 25 gigabytes, 40. So I think Cat 7 is probably where I might land at Cat 7, I think. Because then I'll have the potential to go... I'll have the potential to go up. Yeah, because Cat 8, that's just stupid. I'm never going to need 25 gigabytes per second. That's insane. That is a certification. You will get good copper because of the rating of the cable. Yeah, and they're all backwards compatible. Yeah, that's true. Because they're all RJ45, and as long as you do, as long as you do your makeups the same, it's not a big deal. Okay, cool. All right, not a big deal. You all got me tripping there for a minute, but yeah, I was just gonna do Cat 5e because I have it, but I probably wasn't thinking about it too deeply. Because I know I got really good speeds out of the Cat 5e I've used in the past. That was never like really a bottleneck issue, but might as well just go with the Cat 7 anyhow and then just not worry about it. You can plug a 100-foot and then put a powered box. Yep, that's true. Or just a switch. You could just run a switch from the 100 feet. I think if 100 feet, I would hit any end of the house, right? Yeah. I'm running 100 feet of Cat 6, 637 down, 245 up. Okay, yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, so right now I'm running through 2 VPNs through a switch into the computer. Yeah, so I'm not direct from the source. I'm not tapping the source of the internet, you know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure that I'm not exposed on the internet. What is this? I'm getting emails. Okay, no, don't read those emails. We don't want to read these emails either. Excuse me. Oh my God, is Jason from Livingston still here? He was asking about my microphone. is asking about my microphone, and my microphone is well known. It is a well-known microphone. It's the Shure SM7B, as in beta, right? And it is it's sort of a nightmare of a microphone. It's a beautiful microphone. It is great for voice work, but it is super low on gain. There's a link to the Amazon link of how much this microphone costs. It's $400. And that ain't the end, because now you got to buy XLR cables. You also got to buy a cloud lifter because the gain is so low. These cloud lifters cost this much, $149 on sale. Ooh, look at that. Copy. So you need a cloud lifter that looks like this. Actually, I've got one right here. I've got a cloud lifter right here. Do you want to look at it? You guys got to tell me if you want to look at the cloud lifter or not, because then I won't know. I won't know if you guys want to see it. Do you want to see it to believe it? Cloud lifter looks like this. XLR in, cloud lifter, out, in, out. And all this does right here, this whole unit made out of metal. All this does is boost your gain, baby. That's basically it. It cleanly boosts your gain from your source, a.k.a. the Shure SM7B, which is going to be quiet as all hell in most applications. You generally need to run this microphone to a mixer that can boost or not. Mixers obviously are more expensive than the cloud lifter. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of technical jargon, but that's basically what you need to get this set up. Extremely expensive. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. I think the average person, and even the above average person, will do much better with this microphone right here, which is from the same company, although this is a much better dynamic microphone for podcasting right now. They actually make it. It's for people who are essentially going to do podcasts on their computer. And yeah, it's $179 and ready to go. Although you will need XLR outputs to run into something. I currently run into the Scarlett interface. Which one? So I currently run into a Scarlett interface. Actually, I have the old one. Which one is this one? Is this the new one? I actually have the old one. I don't have the new fancy one like this. This is the new fancy one. Ooh, baby. So you run this. Control V. So run that interface that you can run your XLR inputs into from your microphone. Then that goes into your computer, and that's your output that runs to your computer. Your computer can pick it up. This is $99 for this one, and then if you want more microphones, you can buy a bigger one, or you can buy some other audio interface that you really like that works in the way that you want it to work. But it's up to you. It's your call. Do what you want. So that basic explanation of all of the parts that I have here. I think if I did it again, I probably would do it a different way, but this is where we're at. And overall, I'm not too unhappy with it, but once the new fish room area is done, my studio will be in there, and the setup will be much different. And I'll probably make a video illustrating like how I set up the equipment, how do I set up the sound, how I set up everything, and show you guys like kind of how things work. Because I've noticed that there's like a big deficiency of videos where people are just straightforward, like, here's this, it plugs into this, this thing goes here, this goes there, this is how this works, da 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 da, right? But I'll probably do it on the FishTube channel and just call it like Fish Podcasting or something, whatever you want to call it. The Fish Fishcast Studio or something. I don't know. There's probably a name for it that would make sense. Maybe we'll do a poll. Maybe we'll do a poll and see what people think. See what you guys come up with. Oh my God. 900 emails. 900 emails. Oh my God. Delete. Delete. I wish I could just hit delete all. I wish I could hit delete all. That would be good. That would be good. Have you guys ever thought about doing that with your email? Just delete all. Is that a button? I should make that button if they don't have it. Oh my gosh. Delete. There we go. Oh my God. We deleted 7 emails. That puts us closer to the top. Nobody is chatting anymore, so I'm going to read through and see if we missed anything. What about using a three-way plug-in? Power strip, same thing as a daisy chain. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, metal fish. Don't plug in those 3 ways. Not a good idea. New local Austin was here, and they might be gone. Huawei was here. Joe, that's me. What's up, Huawei? How you doing? How's Huawei doing? I didn't open the phone lines today because we're running out of time anyhow. All right. We got a super chat. We got no new members. Okay. Looks like nobody's even chatting at all anymore. Okay. No questions, no concerns, no comments, no complaints. One super chat of the day was from Lucas Schmansky. Lucas Schmansky. Yeah. Okay. Well, looks like we got what we got. Looks like we got what we came for. Anyhow. Yeah. Nobody's chatting anymore. We got no comments. You have to alternate the 3-way and the power strips. No, don't do that, Zip. That's bad. That's bad. Okay. We got one super chat today. No new members. No new nothing. All right. I think that's it. I'm going to see you. I got to go to the bathroom.